I ended up writing a song. Having hung up his heart under the weight of singing the songs of Zion that just didn't seem to fit in the strange land, he gave birth to a declaration for the desire of God in a place where God dwelled. In this strange land, he composed a song that he likely never would have written had he been in Jerusalem. If everything would have been fine, if everything would have continued, if everything would have been the way that it was, the song that we read today about singing in a strange land likely never would have come out of it. In a strange land, he found a longing and a desire for the presence of God that Israel had been lacking for so long. He found himself thinking back about what I used to, where I used to, how things used to, and longed for the relationship and desire to get back there. In a strange land, he found a story to tell that he wouldn't have found if he had stayed at home. And this is where we say, and all things work together for the good to them that love the Lord, to those who are called according to his purpose. Certainly the bondage, this displacement, the agony, the angst, the grief was not enjoyable. It was not good, but something emerged that he would not have received, that would not have been born had he not been in a strange land. If, as the song indicates, this was a temple musician, then this was a man who spent his entire life training, learning, and becoming his craft. The temple musicians, you were born as a temple musician, and you spent your life learning these songs, learning how to play them, learning how to perform them, learning how to play your instrument, perfecting your craft. It would be, my favorite musician, Prince, had a place called Paisley Park where you would go there and all you did all day was play for 8, 10, 12 hours a day. The dancers did nothing but practice and dance 8, 10, 12 hours a day. It was his life. And this is why he has vaults full of recorded material that nobody else has heard, because his life and everything that he did was committed to and dedicated to that craft. Consequently, and this man experienced something very similar in a temple setting as he came up and as he grew up. It's the only thing he knew. Consequently, he could no more stop singing to the Lord than he could stop breathing. To bear witness to the glory of God, to sing the testimony of God, was as inextricable a part of his innermost being, and even though he said, I quit, there was some part of him deep in crevices where he wished it wouldn't have been that said, you're not done yet. I know you want to hang this up, but you got more songs to sing. I know you want to walk away from it because carrying it with you hurts, but there's still more to be done. He says, I quit. It says, no, you don't. It was like fire shut up in his bones. I can't help myself because it's in me, because it's part of me. These stories that I carry have affected me to where even amidst the sorrow and the tears and the disconnect, my situation doesn't fit, my circumstances don't fit the story that the songs tell, but it's creating, it's crafting, it's birthing something coming out of me that I can't help. If I could sit down and shut up, I would sit down and shut up, but there's something inside me that I have become forcing me to continue on. If nobody else understands, if nobody else sees it, if nobody else gets it, it's who I am. It's a part of who I am. Not just to bear witness, but be a witness. Not just give verbal testimony, but to be a witness to the glory of God, so that even though the temple was down, even though the people had been displaced, even though the Babylonians might wonder, where is your awesome God that we just kicked your tails and drug you out of there, the glory of God still ends up being proclaimed because it's a part of the people of God. It's a powerful thing to grow to a place where all you know to do is reach out for God. It is a very powerful thing to grow to a place where you're not reaching for the gun anymore. You're not reaching for the bottle anymore. You're not reaching for the women anymore. You're not reaching for the weed anymore. You're not reaching for the porn anymore. The only thing that's left in you to do is to reach out to God, where that's all that's there.
Amen.
Anymore. All that I have is God, because everything else has been stripped away. Everything else, that's a powerful place to be. Right. It seems like a place of desperation, but it is a place of unbreakable transformation. Such is the benchmark of Christian maturity. You want to know what being deep is. You want to know what being spiritual is. You want to know what growing in grace and being grown is. To be said, when all I have, and when I realize that all I have is God, when it gets down to it, he's all I have and all that I need, then I have found a very powerful place. In places or times where everyone and everything except for God seems to be in power. They're in a foreign land, they're in a strange land, they're in Babylon, everything. It seems like other gods rule the day. It is a good thing to feel displaced. It's good that he felt out of place. It's good that he felt awkward. There are some situations and circumstances that realistically you weren't built for, and you should feel out of place being there. There are circumstances that we experience. This isn't normal. And we should feel abnormal in subnormal situations. It's a problem when we feel comfortable there. It's good that he was struggling with, I got this song and this story, and I got this situation, and they don't seem to, that's a good problem to have. And it is a great thing to feel compelled to reach out to the Lord. Our truest selves, let me take my time, our truest selves become revealed when the comfort and familiarity of religious settings and pseudo-spirituality have been stripped away, and we find ourselves raw, exposed, and naked, feeling undone.